Welcome to the Science of Gratitude podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Valerie Mukanga, and each week we'll explore how gratitude transforms our lives through powerful stories and insights. Let's dive in. Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to the Science of Gratitude podcast. I really want to welcome you today. We're going to have a great episode. I have a very, very great guest today. His name is Andre Speed. So anyway, Mr. Andre, I'm going to have you please introduce yourself to our audience.
Hey, guys. How you guys doing? Andre Speed here, and Dr. Mukanga, thank you so much for having me here. It's like, I'm honored.
Absolutely. So, Mr. Andre, I wanted to ask you, what do you think about gratitude? How can you define it in your own terms? What does it mean to you?
Gratitude. That's, I think that's something that we don't really just use every day, but when I think of gratitude, it's just being grateful. Is being acknowledged or knowing, gratitude to me is showing appreciation, of what's been done or what's doing. Like right now, for instance, I'm giving you all the gratitude for letting me be on gratitude right now. Thank you for that. And I appreciate you because you could have a lot of anybody else saw, a lot of people saw, and I was one of those people. So thank you so much. Gratitude means a lot to me, and that shows ability to be humble, right? You show gratitude to show appreciation. But
I do also appreciate too, for saying yes, because you could have always, I know you're a busy man.
I am a busy man.
You could have been doing something else. So the fact that you said yes, I really appreciate it. And I wanted to, share that appreciation with you, which is gratitude according to your term.
Yeah. Look, thank you. What's gratitude to you, if you don't mind me asking? I know you asking the question, but I got to ask, what do you think when
To
people
me, honestly, to me, gratitude is the same, it's the fact that you're being thankful. It's the fact that you're being grateful, that you appreciate who you are, who is around you, appreciation towards God, towards your fellow man, and it's very essential and it really actually enhances your life. I feel like, whenever we begin to really, zoom into gratitude, we just start finding ourselves being more happy. Say, for example, if you were going through a hard situation, and all of a sudden, instead of like looking at the bad side of things, you start kind of like really analyzing and finding little minute thing to be grateful for, ceases to be as harsh. So I think it's essential to be grateful because it just helps you get through, the mundane or the situations that you're going through, especially when they're tough.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, something to pull from. Gratitude. I like that. Word of the day.
So now I'd like to ask you if you can please go ahead and start sharing your story that you're grateful for, or your gratitude story. What would you like to share with us?
What's so funny? I don't think we have enough time. I have to, how, look, if you're anybody like me, you got to be thankful and grateful that God gives gratitude because it comes in so many ways, right? Through people, through opportunity, through, sometimes just knowing, like, man, oh my God, where do I start with gratitude at? Let's start from birth to now, right? From that I'm here because we'll kind of pivot a little bit. My little brother, he passed away at the age of 23.
Wow.
So
I'm sorry to hear.
asthma. Yeah. And I'm telling this story not because it's a sad story or anything of that nature, but this is a story I like to share with everybody that I get a chance to. And I just think this is the perfect gratitude story. So my brother passed away at the age of 23. Just getting married, like everything was going up. Matter of fact, did get married. He did get married. Let me just say that. 58 days in ICU from an asthma attack, right? People, when you think of asthma, you don't really think about anything like that. But, asthma can kill you. So if you can't breathe, you can't live. So those are facts. So anyway, I say all that to say this. I'll never forget those days, of him and my family seeing, things like that. that happen. And
Right.
I tell this story because I'll never forget. I was in my garage. I'll never
Mhm.
forget. And you know, you having all these thoughts going on in your head. And I remember praying and I asked God, I said, are you gonna take my brother away from me?
Wow.
And the clears we're talking, I
Mhm.
heard God say to me, he's mine, isn't he? And when I heard that, it was the most powerful but yet calming feel that I ever felt in my life to hear
Wow.
God say to me that he's mine, isn't he? And that
Mhm.
let me know here us people, we're very selfish when it comes to the flesh, you
Mhm.
know, because we're here today and we're going tomorrow and we miss each other because we love each other.
Right.
But just having that gratitude of knowing God said mine, you
Isn't
know,
it?
it was amazing. It was the most comfort that I ever felt in my life. So I say that it just kind of just, and that's just, you know, I know that's maybe a lot to some people, but
Mhm.
in my life, I have experienced so much gratitude, you know, through just even some situations that most people would say, wow, I wouldn't be able to
To
go
take it.
on. But being grateful, having that gratitude and understanding that, you know, we're here and we're all his, you know, just means like so much than this particular life can ever give. And I didn't want to go that way deep, but that will probably be the most impactful gratitude that I can just kind of what I go through on a daily basis and how I
Mhm.
move and how I operate and what fuels me because I don't, you know, I'm definitely we heard the saying in the world but not of the world. You know,
Yes.
you know, I'm a visitor here. So when I'm
Mhm.
here, I try to make sure that I spread as much love and helpfulness and all that other kind of good stuff that we can do while we're here because, you know, 23 years old, that's like,
Mhm.
me, you know, that was dang, I
That's like
remember
a
when I was
baby.
23. But he did everything that he wanted to do in that
Mhm.
23 years old. So I mean 23 years of living. So
Yes.
just kind of being grateful that, you know, I was able to get a perspective, right?
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
know, a lot of other things could be dim or gloom and zoom and, you know, all the stuff that can happen when you lose someone close and things of that nature, but just us as people. So yeah, that's probably the one best way that I can buzz down gratitude for me when it comes just knowing that, you know, we all God's kids and, you know, especially if you have a relationship with them, you're gonna be okay.
I'm kind of like stunned because, like, what kind of relationship do you have with God to ask Him a question that clear, that straight, as far as, are you going to take him away or would he stay? And him answering you, like, how did you develop that? I mean, most people won't really ask that kind of question. They'll be like, Lord, please, heal him and all of that, which is still valid. Those are still valid prayers. But what caused you to even make that prayer? And then how did you come to have that kind of relationship with God?
Well, facts is this. I just, you know, having a family like my grandmother. See, this is a whole
Mhm.
nother gratitude story right here. I can't even make this up. So let me tell you something. So every
Okay.
day after school in elementary, my grandmother would have us to do Bible study, right?
Okay.
So she taught us and was teaching us about our Lord and Savior, you know, things of that nature. And it was so cool. She called us We Nine. Those her grandchildren. She called us We Nine. And the foundation that I learned, you know, from my grandmother, and of
Mhm.
course going to church and going, you know, to different events and things of that nature. I don't know a time when I did not have a relationship with God. You know how some people say that, oh man, I remember the day. Well, of course, in this walk, you know, I'm still far from perfect and I have to repent and ask God to help me daily.
That's all of
However,
us.
yeah, yeah,
All of
I'm
us.
supposed to tell you, but however, just being rooted, right? Having somebody to teach you when you're young because here's the thing, a lot of people don't know you can go to church all day long, right? You can be the person that, you know, holier than thou and still don't love your brother, don't love your sister, you know, feel you're better than somebody. It's a relationship thing, you
Mhm.
know. And I built that relationship when I was young. I
Mm-hmm.
use my grandmother as the example of helping just teaching us build that foundation. But
Mm-hmm.
however, we're gonna pivot a little bit. I have asthma. When I
Oh.
was young, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not supposed to be here. So
What?
let's twist this back around to my little brother passing
Yes.
away at 23. I
Mm-hmm.
remember being blue, they said. I don't remember personally, but being a
Mm-hmm.
kid or swallowing my tongue and my uncle's trying to save me and things of that nature.
Wow.
When I and just now let's fast forward, to me asking God, is he gonna take my brother? Because that could have been me, right?
Right. And you had an idea of what it felt like to be in that position.
I can tell you right now, if you can't breathe on a real deal asthma attack, I don't wish that on anybody in anybody, because
Mm-hmm.
this it is real, it's serious, and a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people don't take it as you can die from asthma, even
Mm-hmm.
though we all know if you can't breathe, you can't live. So,
Correct.
and I don't want to just be rambling off, but the relationship built when I was young.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've been saved a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So,
Yes.
and when you go through each, I was taught new level, new devil, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was each time you go through something, it's really to help you get through something that's going to come up, or and give it to someone who needs it. So there's a lot of people out there that need you to go through something so you can tell them how God works and how you can make that next joint. So the next joint jump. Sorry about that.
Mm-hmm.
Mouth dry. I'm drinking some. I'm not gonna tell you. I'm a busy man, as you can see. I could. You know what I was gonna do if I want to talk to you right now? Take a nap. I've been up since 3 a.m.
Oh my goodness. Thank you.
Yeah. So this is some water that I sprayed some B12 in and things of that nature
To give you some
to keep
energy.
me to keep.
Yes. Well, thank you. The more grateful I am that you would actually not be napping at this time to actually bless our audience.
No, I'm
Wow.
joking. But like I said, I was going to do this for you and me too, because I don't really talk to people like that. But you know me, I'm always talk and tell you something. We're gonna always talk when we in real life, but I don't do this stuff like this.
It's
So
okay. We appreciate
yeah.
you. So tell me now, once you ask him that question, you asked God, if he was going to take your brother away, and he told you his mind isn't he? Like, so I know you said you were happy, but was there any time then afterwards when he actually went on to be with the Lord that you had to really just hang on to these words because, you felt kind of sad, or even how did you even encourage your family knowing that, God was taking him back to himself?
Well, let me rephrase it. I wasn't happy. I
Mm,
was I was assured. It
for sure.
wasn't. Yeah, I was assured. I wasn't happy that he
Okay.
said. God can say stuff that sometimes we're not happy about.
Okay.
As Jesus.
Yeah, right, 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 right.
So no, I wasn't happy, but I wasn't. I wasn't upset. Wasn't. I was more like like I said, I was grateful to know that God really gave me that. It was
Mhm.
like, you didn't have to do that, like, it's
Mhm.
like, and to know that, God said my brother's his, it did something for me. It actually
Mhm.
helped me know that I'm going to die. I said, if this little guy's going to die, that's my little brother. I'm going to die too. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it did a lot. It did a lot to me
Mhm.
than I can honestly say with people that's close to me. It didn't do that for,
I
it did
got you. Uh-huh.
opposite, you know
Okay.
and
Okay.
and everybody experienced going through that, and so that's what I'm saying. So the way that I received and what I got,
Mhm.
it kind of made me feel as if, what, it doesn't matter,
Mhm.
the truth, and you just ride on that through the test of time. Oh, and that was 2014.
Okay.
So in 2025, I still
Wow,
can
that's
talk
about
about this
11
to
years ago.
hey,
Mhm.
as if it just happened, because that was
Mm.
an experience and encounter that I
Mhm.
had to go through, and this story has helped so many people since then to now, and hopefully somebody will hear it and whoever or whatever, somebody that was close to them, they can get some assurance that they
Mhm.
know that they're with their father. So it's all that matters.
I know it's not an easy story, but like, would you be able to walk us through maybe three things that, knowing that God was going to take him back to yourself did to you and for you to help you cope? Or how did it change your life?
So if I'm understanding what you're asking me, you want me to explain how God changed my life during that particular situation of knowing that my brother was going to pass?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And I thought you, and that's what I thought you said. And then I go back to when I said I wasn't happy, but I
Hmm.
was assured because sometimes we have a lot of us have emotional things that we don't control. We
Yes.
our emotions can go haywire. And that was not an emotional feeling that I had.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was a confident, truth assuring, feel that I had. So it wasn't something that I guess made up or thought up or, had to believe, make myself did this really kind of happen or not. It
Hmm.
was definite on and off, black or white, up or down. But what it did to that assuring just it gave me that confidence to build on. Because remember, I told you where I'm at was where I was able to ask God, "Are you going to take my brother?"
Hmm.
I know I have asking authority.
Hmm.
I know I'm his child.
Hmm.
And just like if your son or daughter come and ask you for something,
Hmm.
you're going to answer them.
Right.
It may not be in the way that they want to hear it or they
True.
receive it, but you're going to answer them.
Hmm.
I can't explain to you to let you know that I guess I was spiritually mature at that
Hmm.
time to understand that this is my father talking to me and saying that you good because he knows what's going on. He know people, us and human, we have a close knit relationship. But I also found out too that bodies does fade away.
Mm.
Things fade away all the time. Anybody that's close to you, especially you have a real relationship to them,
Yes.
they're always with you. They never die. Like my little brother never died to me.
Mm.
I can't call him. I can't touch him. I can't do that, but I can go back and recollect and remember the times and still
Mm.
feel and be in those moments.
Mhm.
It's a
Mhm.
up, down, and however you process. I mean, sometimes I get sad, but most of the
Yes.
time, because that's a human, because that's the mist, that's the long, those are some of the natural parts of it. But at the end of the day, I cope with it knowing that I'm assured that he's with his father. I
Yes.
cope with it knowing that the relationship that I had with my brother was real
Mhm.
and it wasn't something that no, something that we took for granted with each other. And, a lot of people sometimes when they do have those mornings and things of that nature, it may be some unresolved or some things that may not been, addressed or taken care of. And we always go on that, man, I wish I could have, or we should have. I didn't have any of that. The only thing that
Mhm.
I had, I didn't call them. I didn't, I tried to find something, but I was like, man, he was out with his wife, it was, so, there's, how we try to find something, but, I couldn't find anything that wanted me to stay into a sorrowful place when it came to my brother because it was genuine love, throughout. I was his big brother. He just wanted to probably beat me up. He didn't get a chance to do that. So that's the only thing that he's probably upset about. Other than that, it was just kind of one of those things. Mom, I, helped him out. He changed his diapers and things of that nature. So I'm a big brother from back in the day when you had to help your mom and them for real.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But
So
that's what kind of brother I was.
Eh, that's good. Well, let me ask you this. Did it also, you knowing that, did it also cause you to consider the way that you actually conduct your life as far as like living right? Because you said something along the lines that knowing that God was going to more than likely take your brother caused you to also know that one day too, you will
Mhm.
be going. back to the
Mhm.
Father. So did it make you consider how you live your life in a positive way to make an impact?
What it definitely did was it made me appreciate everything as a
Mm,
whole
mhm,
because you don't know the time, the date,
mm,
the minute, or the hour. Now, I'm
mhm.
not going around here walking on eggshells and all that other kind of stuff because, oh man, I can die. Yes, you either right or wrong, you can die.
Right.
You can force it yourself too.
Mhm,
However, yes, it made me really, really want to just know God more.
mm.
Or just like, all right, God, if you talk to me on, because God still don't be answering everything I be asking. Let's just
You just chose to answer
Nah,
your
hey,
faith
yeah, not
question.
right there. Not right, not on everything. Stuff always comes, comes how it's supposed to come. But
True.
hey, those was just one of those moments I think he pulled up on me. So
Yeah.
I don't take it lightly, but it did make me appreciate every moment. I can't. It
Mm,
made me appreciate my children because I'll never forget looking at my daughter because at
mhm,
that same time
mhm,
I just had a daughter and
mm,
she's 11. So my brother's birthday, February 13th. Her
mhm.
birthday's February 14th. So
Wow.
it's so crazy. And
Yes.
he did get to meet his niece because that was all in the same year. She was born,
Mhm,
he got married, and unfortunately, uh, October 31st, 2014, he passed. So
mhm,
it was just kind of one of those things, and I say all that to say, it just I remember holding my daughter, and she was a baby, and I was like, "Oh my God, God, you can take her,
mm,
she can go."
mhm.
This is my infant, my baby, and
Right.
my brother was dying or passing, and you or whatever
Mhm.
was going on throughout the that 58 days of ICU and not being
Able to
going
breathe.
under, things of that, all that stuff that was going on with him. But yeah, it was like, man, I got this baby and she can die. Because everybody we here, one day and we're gone tomorrow. But it just made me not fear death as well. It
Mhm.
gave me the strength to know that it don't matter what you do, speed. One day, it can be you can be 100, but one day we all got to go down this same path. And if my
Mm,
little brother did it, I know I got to do it.
mhm, mhm.
So and that's just what that did for me. All that. So it's just because everybody has this. We all have this thing about death. We know it's gonna happen. But we don't want it to happen.
We don't.
Or we don't want nobody close to us dying, or
Right.
but Jesus conquered death.
Yeah.
And we don't, what I'm saying? It's saying like we don't use all this stuff. Like the worst thing they did, and I love my grandmother. I'm bringing this up. She said, "Well, baby, they talk about Jesus, so they gonna talk about me too." So we all
Right.
heard that. I said, you know what, Grady? They killed them too. And this would be a little kid. I said, yeah. So I mean, they try to kill us too, off the Granny. She's like, yeah, baby, they will. Yeah, all that to my mind, I'm a kid. My mind is, I see some cartoons. I see, how you can just use your mind to do whatever, just how I
Imagination.
learn. Yeah, that's just
Yes.
how I learn, right? Because I just remember that cartoon saying, yeah, they talked about Jesus. They killed him, Granny. And I just saw cartoons of,
Yes.
Jesus, trying to kill him. But long story short, it just kind of God has given us everything that we need to sustain.
In the,
And of
yes.
course, it's all in his word. Of course, you got to pick it up and utilize it and apply it. And that don't necessarily mean that we're perfect by a long shot. But what it
Absolutely.
is mean we're holding ourselves accountable. We have guidelines, we have standards. Everybody walk is where their walk is. It's about a relationship. You have to have a relationship with your Lord and Savior. You have to have a relationship with God. You
Mhm.
have to have that to keep going because a lot of people don't know the world we living in right now. It's a spiritual warfare every day,
That part.
and half the time it's stored within yourself.
Yes. Yes.
Stored within yourself. So a lot of people don't really pay attention to what's going on inside themselves. That's another story. That when
Mm,
we talking about being grateful, so
mhm.
let's be grateful. that we're not like that today, because tomorrow could be another story.
True.
Tomorrow will be another story. Yeah, but that situation did help me not be afraid of death. It made me understand that, yes, I may not be here physically, but I will be home spiritually. And I'm gonna say this too, this for a lot of people. You're gonna be on the record. You hear this all the time. You got one life to live. That is a lie. That is a lie. You do have another life. Just depends on which way you gonna go.
Right. It's more like you have one life to live on this earth.
Yeah, on this earth, yeah, that's right. On this earth, but you got something
Then
else
you live,
going on.
your actions and the way you live it will determine how you're gonna live the second one. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. But
Thank you
that
for
goes.
putting that to light.
That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for. You done woke me up now. That juice, that B12 done kicked in. I'm ready to go.
Well, anyway, thank you so much. I mean, this was really rich. I
Mhm.
truly appreciate you. I think this is very, very valuable because, this episode has made me realize honestly that you can ask God any sort of question. I know that when I see a loved one, not feeling so good, I have never thought about asking God, so God, okay, between you and I, are you taking this person? Yes or no? More like, okay, God, please heal them. Or,
Mhm,
sometimes it's more like, God, may let your will be done, when I
mhm,
pray. But to know that you actually have the freedom to ask him a question as direct and as that one, and that he can actually answer you in a way that will bring you comfort while the situation is still going, or the situation is still hard, is very encouraging to me. And then another thing that I really got out of this as well is knowing that, we should not fear death,
mm.
because the Savior already won. He already defeated it. And so I'm actually going through it. It allows you, or gives us a window towards the eternity, which now the way you live in this life determines where you're going to end up being. So that's very encouraging, just to know that, yes, we don't necessarily want to die right now or tomorrow, but should it happen, we should not fear. We should not fear, because it's all good. God still has us in our hands. And just the same way he told you that your brother was his, wasn't he, is the same thing he should be able to say about us. Andrew is mine,
Absolutely.
isn't he? Valerie is mine, isn't she? So that's very encouraging. And I really, really thank you for what you have brought to this platform. I think it's going to help a lot of people, including myself. Yeah.
Hey, look, what I say, I'm here to help, right?
And you said you're going to help a lot of people. And I truly believe that you will.
I'm here to help any way that I can. But you know what I
Yes.
was thinking when you were saying all that? Most people are afraid to hear the answers sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Because we all know that. We ask God for all kinds of stuff, but when it comes to like stuff, because it's all stuff to God. It's this the same to him, whether it's the death or was it that I need some couple of dollars for this, so it's all the same to God, because our God already knows how he's gonna operate.
Mm-hmm.
He already knows your plans, his plans for your life. You just need to check in with him and just kind of ask him, hey God, what do I need to do? Where can I go?
Mm-hmm.
And it can be as simple as that.
Mm-hmm.
What do I need to do? So pay attention, he'll tell you.
Yes. Pay attention. He'll tell you. That is definitely
Mhm.
that is definitely key. And that is how we're gonna end this podcast today. Pay attention, ask the question, and pay attention to the answer.
This was so
Yeah.
cool.
Well, thank you so much. But before we actually exit, I'd like to ask you, should
Mhm.
somebody want to contact you, how should they do that? Say, for example, somebody is finding themselves in a position where they are scared because there's something going on in their lives and they would like to get some kind of comfort from you or counsel from you. How can they reach you?
Okay, I'm still old school. You can reach me directly at my email. You email me, I will get right back at you. So that's not a problem. And it's speedhealth7 at gmail.com. last
Speed
name,
Health.
SPEED health 2 for gmail.com. Reach
Wonderful.
me. I promise I'll get with you.
Wonderful. And we'll make sure that we put it also in the description of the episode. So thank you
Absolutely.
again so much. I'm grateful that you were able to bless us today. And I
Thank you.
really pray that, God blesses you and actually give you speed according to your name in the things that you're doing. Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Doc, I really appreciate you for having me here. Like I said, I don't even know what we finna talk about, but guess what? We
Mhm.
figured it out, didn't we?
Open your mouth and I will feel it. That is how it goes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
So
Well,
thank you
I'll
so
see you
much.
sooner than later.
Yes. And for everybody else, I know that you have been enriched by this episode, and I am very grateful that you were able to tune in today. Once again, Mr. Andre, thank you so much. And until we see you next time, take care. Bye.
Thank God.
Thank you for listening to the Science of Gratitude podcast. If this episode resonated with you, please subscribe, share it, and leave us a review. Your support helps us keep spreading the power of gratitude. And until next time, stay grateful. God bless you.